Hello planty people, I am back. This is me, Empress, and I am here today for a little video that was completely unplanned. However, I don't want to do it alone, and I'm scared. So I've got my little brave Monstera rar shirt on to try and give me a little bit of encouragement because I have to do something today that I really don't want to do. However, I've sought advice from a few different plant people and a few different research places, and it's looking like this is actually going to be the best option. However, insert panic noises here. That's how I'm feeling right now. I really don't want to do this. However, my plant has given me no choice. If you watched my recent houseplant tour, you will have seen the plant that I said I think is trolling me. It is my Monstera, Albo, Variegata, Borsigiana, and yes, it has turned all white. Now, what I mean by that is you can see here, look, how beautiful is this stunning white leaf, yeah? Beautiful, stunning, right? Not so pretty after a while. The white leaves just can't maintain themselves. This is the most green I have gotten from any of the new leaves, and there is no white, like there is no green in the new stem at all. That new stem is completely white, which is not good. Which is a shame because there is actually lots of green. I'm hoping you can see this. I'm gonna have to like hold it down at the same time. But there is lots of green in that original stem there. So it's a bit of a shame that it hasn't produced more green in the plant. So today you are joining me in what is probably going to be slightly traumatizing. I'm cutting my plant back. I don't want to. And I'm not quite sure where to do it because there's like not that much internodal spacing. But I think I'm going to have to kind of go right up the very beginning and chop it about here, which you can't really see. But I will move you so you can look directly as I'm doing it. This, if you know the prices of these in Australia at the moment, and they have been consistent for the last like year and a half, 2 years, this was not a cheap plant. I thought I was going to be pretty safe because if you saw the unboxing of this plant, this little baby leaf here was the first leaf it produced. And you can see it's like more green than it is white. However, this did not continue on from that point. The closest I've had yet is this little strip here, which is still very mottled. There isn't even a few, like a pure patch of green in it. So this is a very concerning thing for this plant. It means that long term it's just not going to grow very big and healthy. It has been doing pretty well because I have been subsidizing it with extra like feed, but it just can't maintain this for very long. So we are going to chop it together, and I'm going to try really hard not to cry. And if I cry, please send me kind words in the comments. I don't want to. But it's now going into spring and all my plants are growing like crazy, like wild at the moment. And I know that if I'm going to do this, now is the time to do it. So I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to put her back on my heat mat, which I've just unplugged because it's starting to warm up enough to not need the heat mat. However, because she'll be freshly chopped, I think I want to put her back on the heat mat, just so that it can get that little bit of extra support, because it is still getting to quite cold in my city overnight, and I want to give her the best chance at life. So just appreciate this white leaf for a minute before I destroy it. Like, isn't it stunning? Ah, it's so beautiful, but it's so not like maintainable for the life of the plant. All right, so I'm gonna stop yammering and stop freaking out pre-chop, and I'm just gonna turn this camera around and we're gonna get straight into cutting its head off. And if you like my shirt, check out the merch link below. All right, let's get into it. All right, now, I'm still kind of deciding where I'm going to chop this, to be honest. I think I might have to remove this little leaf here. So we're going to pull this little leaf off, and we're probably going to chop before this leaf here if there's enough space, because this leaf here, this was the leaf that started all of the problems. It only had a streak of green up its spine, but it had no green on the leaf at all, whereas this little baby leaf here was perfect. So we kind of want to encourage this again. This was okay if it had been in amongst everything else. Like, I would have been more than okay with this leaf if I hadn't had two pure white leaves with no green on them either side. And we'll just take it out of this little pretty pot here. And you can, let's hold it down so she's not going to fall. And you can see that the bit of green that's on there is actually on this stem part of the old leaf. It's not on the new stem at all. Like, there is maybe a tiny splash of green here on the stem. So I will attempt to propagate what I cut off, even though it's a fairly unsuccessful sort of idea to do that. However, I'm not going to just throw it in the bin. That is not happening. I can't bring myself to do that at all. So I will attempt to propagate. Like, it does have some aerial roots coming out here. So I'm going to attempt to propagate what I chop off, and you know, we'll just use that as a bit of a security blanket to see if it survives because of all of this weight. However, the base plant, like, as you can see, it did have the potential to be a little bit more even. So we just want to try and get that back. All right, so everybody take a deep breath with me right now because I'm freaking out. First, we got our isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to clean my cutting implement. I want to make sure that this is very, very sterile. You want to make sure that I am not passing any bacteria or germs that might be on this blade into my very precious plant here. So give it a really nice good wipe down. And it's a bit dirty, so I'm glad I've done that. It's been a while since I've cleaned them, I admit. I've been using them on a lot of my sort of outdoor succulent pruning, and I get a little bit lazy when I'm working on the very common outdoor succulents, because I'm like, I have 150 of these in my garden. I don't really care if one of them rots, which is probably a little bit negligent, but it is what we need to do. All right, and then also here I have my cinnamon. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon onto the wound when I cut it, because it's a good natural antifungal, and it will help sort of help seal that wound off and help any germs, any fungal virus stuff getting into the plant. All right, just dry those. We don't need any like wet alcohol on those. All right, so just going to bring you in a little bit closer so you can kind of watch the mayhem firsthand, shall we? Oh, there we go. All right. I'm so nervous, can you tell? Okay. Plant surgery 101. So, yeah, I want to remove this leaf here. So I'm just going to pull that off because I want to get it off as much as I can. See, there's plenty of green in this stem here. Like, I feel really betrayed. And normally a Borsigiana will have more internodal spacing than this currently has. If you don't know what an internodal spacing is, it's the space between the nodes where the leaves have come out. Usually a Borsigiana will have a lot more space than a Thai constellation, which is your other very common, well, not very common, but like very popular plant at the moment. I'm also going to take off this leaf here because, I mean, it's in bad shape. What's the point in keeping it? It's just being a drain to the mummy. So we're just kind of cut that off there as well. All right. So I think probably my safest place to cut is going to be about here, because then I have that first node, and then we have this aerial root already coming out here. Oop, I just put a leaf directly into the camera so you didn't see anything. So I'm thinking of cutting just before this aerial root here, because then I can still attempt to propagate this aerial root from that cutting, which, I mean, it's not going to be the most viable cutting in the world, but it might throw some green back after the shock of being cut off, or it might just shrivel up and die. Stay tuned and we'll find out. Oh God, here we go. Hoo ha, ha. Okay. Oh my God, I don't want to do this. I should just name Watch Empress. This video should just be called Watch Empress Freak Out. Okay, you ready? I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I feel like I need to, like, I don't know, pray to the goddess or something. Okay, we're going in. We're doing it. 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 We're not doing it. I'm such a wuss. Yesterday I was literally giving my friends this big talk about how important it is to prune your plants and how it encourages growth and blah, 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 blah. And here I am freaking out at the idea of doing it. And we're done. What have I done? Okay, it's done. It's fine. It's done. I'm not crying. You're crying. There is another root that has grown down in under here. Holy shit, that was the most nerve-wracking thing I think I've ever done. Okay, all right, so we have our cutting here. My heart is beating 500 miles an hour. Like, I don't even know what that is in kilometers, but it's really fast. I'm glad I don't have one of those, like, heart monitor things. It would be freaking, like, those smartwatch things or whatever you do, these techie people, it would be freaking out. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little cinnamon on the wound there so it's nice and protected from fungal. Seriously, that was the scariest thing I have ever done in my life. Okay, so now we've chopped her. She looks crap. Again. But there's still plenty in there, like, I hope at least. I hope I haven't cut it too short. This is what we've now got left. I will let this dry off for probably a day or two, and then I'm going to stick it in some water, and we will see if this cutting survives. So this will be an interesting journey to see if this survives, or any of it survives, or if I have just sacrificed a very expensive plant for the sake of a little bit of YouTube content. So, yeah. Woohoo. Well, here it is. And here it is. I'm having a lot of feelings right now. A lot of feelings. I'm gonna dip this into rooting hormone to help seal that end off as well, and I'm gonna go hyperventilate in my office. If you want to see what happens next, whether it be good or bad, I will update either way. Please like and subscribe and tune in soon to see if this was a really big mistake or if this was the best thing I could have done for my plant. Who knows? Only time will tell. Oh my God, plants are such a ridiculously stressful hobby sometimes. I'm like, oh yes, they're so calming. They give me peace. It's like meditation. Stress. Anyway, yeah, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching, and check out my other videos. I've got a few other videos updating in the next few days. They're all scheduled and ready to go. So, yeah, if you've enjoyed this, I hope so. Check out my merch, check out my Redbubble, and keep growing like your plants. Bye.